But even
No.
if you go on Gmail and you just create one that says like fabulousfallon2 at gmail.com, just keep
Okay.
it consistent with your brand.
Okay.
Mhm. And then that way, all of your emails that go to that email are always
All
gonna be
about.
related to your brand partnerships, things of that sort,
I
and they're
like
not
that.
getting lost in, your personal email.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord, they don't want to get in that personal email because
Yeah.
it might
Mm.
be a little junky over there. But okay.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, your go-to space for content creation, actionable strategy, and the real behind the scenes of building a business while you're still balancing a full-time job. Every week we talk about what actually works, what doesn't, and how to create content that moves your business forward without burning you out. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc. Let's get started. Well, hello, Fallon, and welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you here. So thank you so much for taking out your time to sit with me, to chat with me about all things business. And so for the people who are not aware of who you are, can you give us a little brief introduction on who you are, what you do, and all of the things?
Sure. My name is Fallon. I am from Houston, Texas, mom of three. I am getting my feet wet in this social media thing. I am here to figure out what I need to do.
Hmm.
But I like all things craft. I'm crafty.
Okay.
Beauty, and I love spending time exploring my city with my girls.
Nice.
So that's pretty much it.
Nice. And so what would you say is your biggest goal of wanting to be on socials? Let's start there.
I think I have a lot to share. I love the idea of sharing through the lens of social media, like how you can see data. Like I find a lot of things that I like to do in my city just by
Hmm.
going on TikTok
Hmm.
or just even when I'm visiting another city. Before I go or create an itinerary, I go
Hmm.
on TikTok or I go on Instagram just to kind of, get an idea of those type things.
Yeah. So
That's
it sounds like you're kind of because I know like before we hopped on the call, you were saying I don't really necessarily have a brand. And I was saying, well, clearly you have something because you decided to book the call for us to sit down and chat. And
true.
so are you kind of finding yourself in a place where you're wanting to market yourself as a content creator, basically creating content of experiences,
Mm-hmm.
things that you encounter throughout the city, but then also kind of tapping into like the family lifestyle sector, but then
Absolutely.
also sharing, crafts and things that you do in your free time. Is that
Yes,
high
that's it.
aligned?
And I feel like I'm all over the place, but that's exactly it.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so let's start there. So everyone knows Fallon is a content creator, everyone. Okay. So awesome. So now that we kind of have a good idea of what your goal is, because everyone's like, I want to be on social media, but it's like, well, why do you want to be on social media? And so, like you were saying, you like to share, but I'm assuming you will
Hmm.
want to attract brand partnerships,
Yes,
paid collaborations, things of that sort, right?
that's the goal. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Listen, we're getting somewhere.
We're getting
We're
somewhere. You got
getting
to pull it
somewhere.
out. But
Okay. And so for all of the people that are listening, where can they find you on socials, or what is the platform or social handle that you're wanting to dive in and that you're really wanting to use as your platform to market yourself?
so I would like to use Instagram. So
Okay.
I am fabulous underscore Fallon 2
Okay.
on Instagram. I use TikTok a little bit. I'm not that experienced with TikTok. I just recently got approved for LTK.
Mhm.
So I have that as well. But preferably Instagram.
Okay, perfect. So for everyone that's listening right now, you can check out Fallon on Instagram at fabulous_Fallon, and it's FALYNNE2. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you could, and I kind of think I know the answer to this, but for the sake of the episode recording, if you could niche yourself down or put yourself into like different niches or subcategories about the content that you want to create on your platform, what would you say the top 3 things would be?
Top three, I would say, is lifestyle,
Mhm.
crafts,
Okay.
and beauty. I would say.
Okay. Nice. And so when it comes to like your day to day, like do you find yourself doing a lot of like cuz like for instance, let me just go back and share my own personal. When I first got started as a content creator, I found myself like wanting to be a fashion content creator because that's what everybody was doing. But then
Mhm.
like it didn't fit my lifestyle because one, I don't like dressing up and wearing makeup half the time. Two, like putting together curating looks is just not my thing. But because
Mhm.
I saw everybody else doing it, I thought that's what I had to do. And so
Mhm.
do you find like when it comes to beauty, like is beauty a part of like your day-to-day like type of thing? Because I say all this to say when you are creating content, if the
Mhm.
thing you're creating content is already a part of your lifestyle, that will help you to be consistent with pushing out the content rather than going out of your way to do something that doesn't align with what you currently do in your day-to-day routine, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay. So when it comes to I think the first thing you said lifestyle. So what do you mean by lifestyle?
So just like your day to day,
Okay.
you're taking kids to the bus stop, which I
Mhm.
don't vlog any of that yet because I really don't know kind of what direction to go with that.
Yeah.
But that's something that I do daily.
Okay.
Recipes, those type things I
Okay.
consider lifestyle.
Okay. And so what do you currently do in like your day-to-day like your do you have like a job?
Hmm.
Okay, what do you do in your job?
I supervise a OB-GYN contact center.
Nice. You work from home?
I do.
Nice. Love that.
I
Okay. And then you have kids. How many kids do you have?
have three.
Okay.
They're spread out 25, 17, and 9. So I have them all in different
Yes, for sure.
age brackets.
For sure, for sure. Man, okay. And then as far as like crafts, what kind of crafts do you do?
Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done For You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress.
So a lot of personalization. I have a Cricut, so I work on that a lot.
Mhm.
Paper crafts. I mean, I can do kind of anything. I like to paint.
Okay.
Wood crafts, door hangers, wreaths.
I gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And you sell I'm assuming you sell the pieces that you make.
I do. Sometimes I do them for fun or just for
Okay.
my home, but I do sell them too
Okay.
if requested. Yeah.
All right, cool. No, that gives me a really good idea. So, the way that I kind of like to structure social media audits is I like to handle your name, your bio, highlights, and then content that you actually put on the feed. And so
Okay.
we'll kind of just dive into it. So, since you're saying that the goal is for you to attract brand partnerships, things of that sort, one of the things that I feel a lot of people typically struggle with is really kind of positioning themselves as like a brand that brands would love to work with. And
Und-
so when it comes to let's talk about your Instagram page. So let's talk about your name. So right
mhm.
now, your name on socials is fabulous underscore Fallon 2, which is I
Mhm.
feel, is aligns with who you are. And you can kind of, if you feel like do you feel connected to your username, your at name? Like that's you're strongly and confident with that?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not married to it. I would be open to changing it if something was more striking, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think that as long as you feel confident because when it comes to like branding yourself, even though you say you assume that you're not a brand, you are essentially a brand because
Correct.
when brands collab with you,
Hmm.
they're not collabing with you as the person, they're collaborating with the person on social media, the brand on social media. And
Okay.
so that's where I'm saying like, if this is your name that you're going to be known for, then
Hmm.
this is gonna be the name that's gonna be everywhere. So email, social handles, media kits, like, when you get all big and famous and you're going, to brand events and you're speaking on panels, like this is the name that they're going to know you as. And so if you don't feel strong about that name, then, this would be the time to kind of figure out like what you want to be known as. But if you're like, I like the name, I'm vibing with it, cool, stick with it.
Okay.
Okay. And then the next thing I want to talk about is your name, which is like not your username, the at name, but your name that's bolded when you land on your page. And so right now you have your first and last name. Perfect. But another way that you can kind of help your page with becoming more visible is using
Mhm.
keywords to show people like what they can expect to see when they land onto your page. So that's why I was asking you about like your niches, right?
Uh-huh.
So if someone's like on your page and they see Fallon, you're going to be talking about lifestyle, you're going to be talking about crafts, and you're going to be talking about what was the other thing that you made mention of? You said
I,
lifestyle,
crap, I said
craft,
beauty, but I'm
beauty.
on the fence about that because I don't know where this is going.
Okay. Okay. So essentially what I would do is I would keep your name there, but then I would
Mhm.
add like a vertical line and kind of add those keywords of your niches that someone can expect you're creating content for. So if that's lifestyle, put lifestyle in there. Lifestyle, crafts, and beauty content creator would be kind of like how I would fluff that up. And so that's kind of where I do. But you can figure out, I mean, you don't necessarily have to stay committed to those niches if you're kind of wanting to figure out and just play with them. But whenever you do figure out where like what niches you want to, specialize in, I
Mhm.
would add those to the name portion of your page. So that way when brands are searching for lifestyle content creator or beauty content creator or experiences content creator, then you have the
Mhm.
likelihood of showing up because you have those keywords in your name.
Okay.
Awesome.
So that and you have I'm looking at it now because I kind of went on Chat GPT and picked some
Hmm.
things. So I have my name and I'm on Instagram. It said Mama Beauty Lover DIY Queen. Is that where I would change those words and put lifestyle crafts
No,
and
no, no.
beauty?
So if you go to your Instagram and you go to edit profile,
Mm-hmm.
under your picture, it'll say name and then it'll say username. The name is the area that I'm talking about.
Oh, so under
Mhm.
name put these things.
Yes. So I would put, so for
Wow.
you, I would put Fallon Davison, and then I would have the long vertical line, and then I would put like mom, lifestyle content creator, or something like that.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and so you'll have like about I wanna say it's 64 characters, and you can kinda ask ChatGPT too. Sometimes I change my words in my name often,
you.
like swap out the, keywords a little bit to kinda just, like, freshen myself up in the SEO,
Mm-hmm.
but you can, put whatever name aligns with you. You get 2 chances to change it out every 2 weeks,
Okay.
and I think you get 64 characters in that space, so I would use it wisely, but make sure you're using the keywords that you wanna appear in the search engine for.
Thank you. Okay.
Mhm. Yes. And so then moving.
Okay, quick pause. If creating consistent content feels like a full time job on top of your full time job, then you're going to want to hear this. I am excited to bring to you Batch, which is a new marketplace platform that I and my co founder, Lauren, have created, built for entrepreneurs and content creators. This is the marketplace that is going to connect business owners and entrepreneurs who need content with vetted local creators who can help them plan, shoot, and edit their content all in one place. So many of you have asked, when am I going to be able to book you for a content day? When can you come to my city? Do you know anyone in my city that does what you do? And this is going to be the solution. So, whether you're an entrepreneur who is tired of struggling to find reliable content creators, photographers, or maybe you're just a creator who's ready to get booked and paid without having to go through the social media marketing of your business, Batch is going to be the platform that bridges that gap. So, say for instance, if you're flying to New York for a speaking engagement and you need content there, or even if you have a vendor pop up event in New Orleans and you need content there, Batch is going to be the creator marketplace that helps you get high quality content to market your brand online. It's designed to help you finally show up online with strategy, with confidence, and create consistent content that converts and actually helps you reach your visibility and revenue goals without the overwhelm. So, if you're ready to make content creation easier and more intentional, head over to batchcontent.com. That's BATCHED content.com. Join the waitlist so you are the first to know when Batch is launched in your city.
And so then moving to the next thing, which is your bio. So right now your bio says mama, beauty lover, and DIY queen,
Mhm.
crafting joy. Yeah, creating joy one craft at a time. I'm like, wait, I didn't know what I was saying. And then hashtag mom life made pretty. Okay. So with the bio,
you want to give people a little bit of insight on what they can expect. Just like you were saying, something about balancing motherhood, working a full-time job, but then also curating experiences, exploring the city, and then also crafts. You want to kind of have like a vision, a unique value proposition statement where it basically says like, I am, so and so that does so and so. So if somebody lands on your page and you're like, I want to be, known for exploring Houston, maybe your UVP, your unique value proposition, could say mom of three that loves or enjoys exploring the city of Houston experiences or something like that. Or it could be, a mom of three balancing a full-time job while also curating city experiences or something like that.
Okay.
And that's just off the top of the dome. Again, you can use ChatGPT to put those things in
I
there,
will. Yeah.
but I'm just
just
saying,
jotting down.
yeah, so you want to, and the way that you kind of go in with the prompt is you would ask ChatGPT like, hey, this is, I'm trying to come up with a unique value proposition for my brand. Here's what type of content I want to create on social media, putting together all of these ideas of me being a mom of three, me balancing motherhood while also having a job, me loving to explore my city with different unique experiences, and then also curate adding in crafts and showing, I'm a very creative, crafty woman too. Can you help me come up with a unique value proposition to tell my audience about what they can expect when they land on my page?
Got it.
Yeah. And so once it comes up with that, then you'll kind of have like your unique value, and then that would be your first line of your bio. The next thing that I would add is to also include your city, because when brands specifically, since you're specializing in creating content for places and experiences within the city, then you want to be able people want to be able to know that you're in Houston. So for instance, my friend, she's a content creator. She just got invited to some, like, it's kind of like, it's called Hop Dotty, I want to say, but it's like a main event kind of place in Baytown. And the way that they found her is because she has in her bio that she's a Houston content creator that likes to curate experiences for her family. And so these brands that like pop up, like say like, the color factories and all of these different things like that, they will go in and they'll type Houston content creator or Houston travel or something like that. And so if you don't have your city in there, they don't know where you
They
are.
don't know where you are.
Yes. So I would have in there somewhere like you're based in Houston, or like you can put the little location pin. And
That's
then
in the bio, right? All
Mhm.
that's in the bio.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then, yes, so I will put that there. And then the last thing that I will put in there is how can they contact you? So I would put something like for collabs, email, blah, 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 blah. So it could be like, collabs, the colon, and then you put your email address. Because
Okay.
you want to make it easy for brands to be able to contact you if they are interested in partnering with you or doing some kind of, deal where you connect with one another. You just want to make it easy for them to contact you. So that's kind of how I would structure the bio if I were wanting to position myself as a content creator to attract brand partnerships and collaboration. So the first line would be your unique value proposition. The second line would be your location. And then the third line would be your call to action, which is for them to email you for collaborations at said email address. And then I also would create a brand specific email address. So I don't know if you already have one, but even if you go on Gmail and you just create one that says like fabulousfallon2@gmail.com, just keep it consistent with your brand.
Okay.
And then that way, all of your emails that go to that email are always going
All
to be
about.
related to your brand partnerships, things of that sort. And
I
they're
like
not
that.
getting lost in, your personal email.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord, they don't want to get in that personal email because
Yeah.
it might be a little junky over there. But okay.
Yes. Yes. So I would definitely do that.
I
And
love
then
that.
as far as your link,
your link in bio. So what I would do is create like some kind of media kit. So whenever you do go on these experiences with your family, I'm sure you're creating content. I would go on Canva and create like where you can do like little one pager media kits or even like pitch decks or even like a full blown landing page. But you want it to be like a place where you have all of your brand worthy or like your best pieces of content that you feel most confident in,
Mm-hmm.
showing that like basically what you can do as a content creator. So say for instance, if you went to main event and you took your kid to main event, you were celebrating their birthday, and so you made it a whole big deal. Like, we're taking my son to main event for his birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and you're creating content of the whole thing. And then you create a reel to kind of recap your son's birthday. I would add that to your portfolio. So that way, whenever a brand clicks that link in your bio, they're not having to search through all of your content to see what you are capable of creating. With that being said, going on Canva, creating like a media kit or a landing page portfolio of all of your content that you have created using your own, your own money to pay for these experiences, but giving the brand insight on what kind of content you can create as a content creator.
And I would put that in the links.
Yes. Yes. So once you create the media kit or create the landing page on Canva, it's super easy and super free. Super free. Love that.
I love it. I love Canva. I'm just new to all this. Like, I'm like, link it
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but I'll figure it out over
Yeah,
time. But I
no.
love
If you go
Canva.
on Canva and you type, because now they have like Canva Create or something like that, where it's kind of like AI is generated in Canva, so you
Yes.
can type what you want to create, and then it kind of
Uh-huh.
like gives you the template. So if
Mhm.
you type like content creator portfolio or content
Oh.
creator media kit, it'll pop up all of these templates, and you can kind of just plug and play your own information. So video content, photos, and then also like different pieces and things about you, because also that's some other pieces that the brand's going to want to know is like, okay, who are you? How old are you? How old is your
Mhm.
audience? How old are your kids? Because that's how they figure out if this is a good
Fit for
fit.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, and then once you create that document on Canva, you'll get a URL link, and then you'll just put that URL in
Ah,
your bio on your page.
got it.
This is a lot of information. Let me know
I
if
know, but
it's
I'm just like, I'm taking it in.
too
I'm
much.
just
Okay. I'm like, let me know if it's too much, because I can I can go on and on about this, because that's actually how I got started. Before I started my business, I was a content creator, lifestyle content creator. And so, and that was my way of making a little side change while I was a broke college student. So I'm like,
I
and I know
love
that
it.
things have changed since then, but still I feel like, now that I'm on the other side of it, like I can see why these things are important.
Mhm.
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 Awesome. So did you have any questions so far before we go into like your content?
No, this is great.
Okay. Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real. The algorithm is unpredictable, and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout and you'll get 50% off your Flowdesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building an email list that actually converts, try Flowdesk for free. And don't forget to use the code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout for that exclusive 50% off. Okay, so let's take a look at your content. So I like to just kind of
I'm
look
scared.
at the don't be scared. I like to look at the most recent 12 posts. So let's see. So the first one that we have is it's a boomerang of some crafts that you've made for
Mhm.
homecoming fans. Okay.
Mhm.
Then you have the brown sugar soiree.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Okay. Then you have ornaments. Oh, they already have ornaments in the store.
Oh, they've been out. They've been out.
This
Like
was from
before.
August.
Yes,
Jesus.
that's when they brought them down. Yep, Hobby Lobby.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Then you have Pop Fancy Dessert Bar. Okay, content. Okay. And then let's see. This one is Downtown Houston. This ice cream. Okay.
It was Blanket Bingo, but yeah, not
Okay.
con. Yeah.
Some more crafts. Some more crafts. Love that. Mother's Day recap, book club, family relaxing. Okay. So now that I kind of got a gist of what's happening here. Okay, so here's my first couple of feedbacks. So
Okay.
number one, when it comes to let's start with the experiences because I feel like that's kind of like the first thing that you mentioned. So I figured that that would probably be majority of the piece of your content pie. So when it comes to content experiences, when you are going to these places, you want to capture a couple of clips, different angles, different things, different details. I
Mm-hmm.
would say set a goal to capture anywhere between 10 to 15 clips to tell the story about what's happening. And those
Okay.
clips can be, anywhere between 5 seconds to like 15 seconds. We can put them together later. Just when you're
Just get
there,
them.
just get them. Yeah.
Okay.
And so after you capture all of the clips, what I want you to start doing is putting them together, but telling the story and doing like either a voiceover or something like that. Because, whenever you are telling the story about the experience from your point of view, that does two different things. One, for the audience that follow you, they are able to kind of like put themselves in their shoes and like, see the experience, kind of like giving someone a Google review. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's how they decide if they want to take their family to that experience. But number two, for the brand, even if you say, for instance, if you've purchased the tickets for you to actually go to the place and you create this reel about your experience, now the brand could essentially come to you and they're like, Fallon, this piece of content is absolutely amazing because
Mm-hmm.
it's telling the story that we're trying to convey about our brand. Can we purchase this piece of content and run an ad on it? And now you're able to make that money back. But the thing is that with the content, you have to be able to tell the story and
Mm-hmm.
really hone in on the problem that that brand solves. Yes. So
Okay.
say for instance, like, I don't know why I keep saying main event, but main event
Okay.
is like, a place where everybody takes their kids and whatnot. One of the things that they solve is that, they're open late hours. They have something for the whole family. So they have the bar for
Mm-hmm.
the parents. They have, the baby games. They have the laser tag for the medium sized kids. And then they have bowling and all these other things, right? And so imagine if you are creating a piece of content for main event and you're like, I'm taking my kid to main event and you're, capturing clips of you, maybe you at the bar grabbing a drink and, your kids are playing and doing laser tag and then y'all are all bowling together. And the story is, it's like, we absolutely love main event because it has something for all of us to do. I
Mm-hmm.
love being able to go to the bar while my kids do their own thing. It gives me my own little sense of doing whatever, having my own little me time while I'm wearing out my kids and, doing whatever. But then it also has us, family bonding, we're bowling together. Maybe your kid is going off to college and this is something that you do before they go to school. So you're
Mm-hmm.
telling that story. But
Telling the
then
story.
essentially main event sees it as, no, this is like brilliant because this is exactly why we created our brand. We created our brand to be able to serve the entire family, not just, the kids or just the teenagers or, and so that's what I mean by kind of telling the story, putting
Mm-hmm.
yourself in the shoes of the brand and, kind of figuring out like what is the problem that this brand solves and, basically capitalizing on it essentially.
Okay.
And then so when it comes to that, so that's what I would do. Anytime you have any of these experiences, set a goal of however many clips you're going to shoot. And then after you've, gotten home, relaxed, all the things, put all the clips together, but then do a little voiceover, kind of walking them through the experience.
Experience.
And then making sure that you tag the brand. So tag the brand in the post. And then also, if you share that post or your story, you want to also tag the brand in the story.
The story. Okay.
Mhm. So that way
Okay.
you have multiple touch points because if you think about it from like your point of view, when people tag you and stuff, you see those notifications, but as time goes on,
it's hard to find the people that tag you or things of that sort. But when it comes to the stories, I've heard that most brands, like when they're looking for people to partner with, they're going through their DMs to see people that constantly show up or people that have constantly like popped up in their DMs. And the way that you can pop up in their DMs is by tagging them when they're
Tagging them.
stories.
Okay.
Yep. And then as far as crafts go, so crafts, one thing that I kind of would like to see is like, say for instance, if you're going to Michael's, do some kind of project, you can kind of do the same thing. So you're capturing clips of you going to the store, you're capturing clips of you walking up and down the aisles, grabbing the pieces and items that you're going to use. And then you're capturing clips of you putting together the actual crafts. And so even if it's just like a fun project that you may not even, have the idea of selling that thing, maybe you're just doing it for fun, this is good content for Michael's, so you can even partner with them. And so I would do the same thing in that, as in that respect. So taking
That's
your
good.
audience along the journey, capturing the content of the story, the before, the after, tagging them in the post, and then tagging them again in the stories.
That's good. I
Mhm.
like that because
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to tell it, but I'm missing some parts. Or
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm in the store, I'm doing videos. When I get it all together, I want to make it flow like what you're saying, but
Yeah.
sometimes it can be challenging. So I just have to work harder about getting more clips and
Yeah.
making sure I have enough.
Yeah. And it's always, and my thing is like, always just overshoot. It's always best to overshoot to give yourself more content to play with. Cause I feel like sometimes, like when I first got started and I only have 2 clips, I'm like, what can I do with this?
Right.
So I always just overshoot. I'm getting everything. If I got to
I
do
know.
this way and then go back this way, then I'm going to do it, cause that's going to give me more clips to play with at the end. So
Right.
always overshoot. That's why I say give yourself like anywhere between 10 to 15. If I'm being realistic, 15 is better than 10, but depending on what it is, just give yourself something to play with. And then the
Okay.
same thing with like Cricut too. So like you have all of these things that you create with using your Cricut. I would do the same thing. I would tag the Cricut, tag the materials, tag everything.
Okay.
Everything. That's kind of pretty much it. I feel like when it comes to those, since that's mostly your main goal, I would say start there and then just get consistent with building that muscle of creating content whenever you're doing things. Because the more that you do it, the better you're going to get. And then, it's just going to continue to get better and better and better. And then as you're creating this content, make sure that you add it to your portfolio. And then the last thing that I wanted to kind of tell you is because one of the things that a lot of people think about is when it comes to brand partnerships, that brands are just going to reach out to them. And while that could also be kind of true, you also kind of have to double down and pitch yourself to brands. So, for instance, if you tag Michaels and you're constantly tagging Michaels or you're constantly tagging Hobby Lobby or I don't even know if Joann's is even in business anymore, but Joann's. Okay. So Joann's is not in business. Okay. Well, if you're constantly going there and you're constantly creating content, then that would be an opportunity for you to pitch to Michaels when you know that they have things going on. So like right now, they're gearing up for Christmas. They need people to create content about what's going on, for Christmas. So you could essentially send them an email pitching to them, but then when you're pitching to them, hyperlink pieces of content that you've already organically created using mentioning Michael, so they can also see like you organically use and already spend your money there. Like this would be the perfect opportunity for us to collaborate because I organically already create content that serves the same audience that you're trying to serve. So that's one other thing that I will also do to help you escalate the time of you reaching your goals of brand partnerships.
Understood. Okay.
So that's pretty much it. Did you have any questions for me?
Okay, let me put y'all onto something because if you're creating content and you're not using ManyChat, you are leaving money on the table, and that's on period. I use ManyChat for all of my DM automations, and I'm constantly telling my clients this. DM automations are one of the best ways for you to convert your content. Why? Because you're getting direct links straight to your audience without them having to wait for you to manually respond to DMs. You can send links to your lead magnets, event tickets, your offers, checkout pages, literally anything that you're selling automatically. It's fast, it's seamless, and it removes friction for your audience. But what I love most is not how just convenient it is, but how strategic it is. Because you can also track your conversions and see where your leads are coming from and understand what content content is driving real results. Not just likes, not just views, actual data. And if you want to try it out, I got a code for you. Use my code to get 30% off of ManyChat for your first 3 months. You can scan the QR code on your screen, or if you're listening, head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/ManyChat to grab your discount now. Trust me, once you automate your DMs, you will never look back.
No, this is good. Oh, I did want to know, like, do you feel like, and I know they have different types of people, how they create their content, but do you think it's necessary to always go live and be in videos and
Live, like going live?
going live, or just being in the video? You know, like I'm not big on.
I mean, I feel like okay, going live not necessary. I think people just get overwhelmed with going live, and the thing is that this is your brand. You get to make the rules. If you don't want to go live, you don't have to go live. Period.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? I like
Got
to
it.
go live because I like to talk to people, especially when I have like things going on in my business that I kind of just want to talk, and chat with people about. But you don't necessarily have to go live. That doesn't, make or break your brand or anything like that. There's several people that are doing amazing on, Instagram and have not
Never went
live ever,
Okay.
So no, I don't think it's necessary for you to go live. As far as being in your content, I think yes, because that's the way that people connect to your brand. I think that, in a world previously where, people were like, oh, faceless content, faceless, things of that sort. I think it was cool, but I think when you are wanting to partner with brands want to see you and see the person behind the brand and be able to put a human to the brand.
Understood. Okay. Okay. I think that was my only question.
Any other questions?
No, this has been great. I really appreciate this. I'm gonna take all this and put it to use, and you're gonna see a difference on my Instagram.
Yes,
I'm
love
excited.
that. I love that. Well, I'm so glad that you have some clarity and now you know that you actually do have a brand. And I told you that this was not going to be scary. So you did phenomenal. I'm super excited to see how you use all of these strategies online. And if you need any help, you know where to find me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this, Carlissa.
Yes, absolutely. Have an amazing day.
You as well. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Side Hustler podcast. If today's episode gave you clarity or the push you needed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you want more behind the scenes content and strategy in real time, come hang out with me on Instagram at cd.creativeco. I'll see you in next week's episode.